Have you been struggling to hit your income goals in your coaching business? Well, in this episode, I am going to show you why starting with your premium prices is the key to seeing success in your business. A lot of people who start coaching businesses usually hit this plateau where they feel like they're doing all of this work, they're putting in all of this effort, and they're really not seeing much results. It's like you're spending hours upon hours building out programs, doing your YouTube videos, going live, doing these marketing strategies, and you're only seeing a few $100s to a few $1,000s in return. And this is a very hard plateau to reach because it kind of puts you in this mindset of feeling like, what's the point? Why am I even working this? I would be better off getting a job. At least I know that if I put some time and energy into my job, there'll be a paycheck at the end of the week, But I'm doing all of this and I'm barely making anything. I don't even know if the money that I'm making will be consistent because this month I made a few $1,000s and then the next month I made zero, So what's the point? I feel like my business is very unstable. I've been here before. I know how this feels, and there is a very simple answer to solve this problem. And that answer is to start with your premium prices in your business. And if you're wondering why this is important, don't worry, because I'm about to give you 3 reasons why starting with premium prices in your business will be way more beneficial to you. So let's get into it. So the first reason why you should start with premium prices in your business is because it requires a lot less effort. I know some people are going to argue with me on this because I hear a lot of people debating online that it takes the same amount of effort to sell a low ticket offer that it does to sell a high ticket offer. But honestly, when you have financial goals and you have financial dreams and you have a number that you want to aim to make financially every single month, it is going to take way much more effort with a low ticket offer to hit that number than it will when you have a premium offer product. There's a lot of things that people don't take into consideration when it comes to marketing a product. They don't take into consideration the funnel that you have to take someone through from being a cold lead to a warm lead to a hot lead. In order for you to make a sale, a person has to be more of a warm lead or a hot lead in order for you to make that happen. And everyone who starts off being a cold lead is not going to convert into a warm lead. And then everyone who converts into a warm lead is not going to convert into a hot lead. Like there's a process, and that process is not really taken into consideration when it comes to low ticket offers and using them to try and hit your financial goals. So let's go over an example. And to make this example easier, I'm only going to use cold leads and warm leads. So we're going to say that everyone who is a warm lead has made the decision to purchase your offer, right? So let's say that you have a goal to make $16,000 per month. And as of right now, you only have a low ticket offer that costs $75. So in order for you to make $16,000 per month off of this $75 offer, you need to make 214 sales. That sounds easy, right? Probably not. Because as a beginner, someone who doesn't really know much about marketing, someone who doesn't really have a marketing budget, trying to get 214 people in the door every single month to buy something from you will take a lot of effort and it will take a lot of time. And some might argue, well, okay, if I just find 214 people, I can just convert them all and I'll get a sale. But that's not how it works. We're not considering that everyone who is a cold lead does not convert into a warm lead. If you look at statistics will tell you that only 1 in 5 cold leads convert into warm. So if we use that statistic, then that means that we will actually have to get 1,070 cold leads in order to get 214 of them to buy from us and hit our number. Now, as a beginner, someone who is just starting their coaching program, or someone who has a coaching program that hasn't really been working and being successful, does that not sound like a lot? Does that not sound like a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of understanding of marketing in order to reach this simple number of $16,000? It is. So let me give you another example, and I want you to tell me in the comment section which example sounds more ideal. Okay, so in the second example, You make the decision to start with your premium product and you release an offer that costs $8,000. Now, in order for you to reach your goal of $16,000 per month, you only need 2 warm leads in order for that to happen. Now, remember, only 1 in 5 cold leads actually convert into warm leads. So 1 in 5 would mean that you need 10 cold leads in order to convert 2 of them into paying customers. Now, which one sounds more easy? Which one sounds more effortless? And which one sounds like less of a headache? Would you rather try to reach 10 strangers and market your product to 10 people to get 2 sales per month? Or would you rather try to reach over 1,000 people every single month to try and get 214 of them to buy your product so that you can reach your goal? Which one sounds more doable to you? If I'm being honest, and I'm not saying this to be discouraging, I'm not saying this to, disappoint you, but a lot of people who are just starting out won't even have the means to reach thousands of people. So them hitting their number of, or their financial goal of $16,000 per month just simply won't happen, because they don't have the means to reach 1,070 people every single month. They don't have the means to do that. So they're just going to have to settle with a number that's less than. And that's why you have so many business owners where they're still working a job. They started this business to get out of their job. They started this business so that they can have time for their children. They started this business so that they can live the life that they want, but they're still feeling like this business is just something that they're doing on the side. They feel like this business is a hobby because it's not making them much money. And it's not because the business sucks, it's because their strategy of pricing isn't that good. So instead of starting with low ticket, aim to start with high, because the higher you go, the more money you will make with less effort required. So the second reason why you should start with your premium products instead of your low ticket products is because you will attract a different audience. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Marketing is not the only thing that is more hectic when you have low ticket offers. The people who buy your products is also very hectic when you have low ticket offers. And some people might argue, no, it's not, it's the same people. But I promise you, the people who are buying your $20 offer are not the same people who are buying your $6,000 offer. Different price points attract different types of people. And I might do a second episode where I explain the difference of people, like the difference of people who buy your products. And if you want that episode, let me know. But I'm going to keep it cute. And I'm just going to ask you, have you ever came across a person who basically wanted everything for free? You came across a person who wanted, a discount on everything that you have. They, reach out and they ask hey, when is this going on sale? Or have you ever came across a person who tried to shame you for even having a price point on your offer? I'll give you an example. Before I started this business and before I started this podcast, I actually spent the last 5 years having a faith-based business and a faith-based podcast that coach people on how to, develop their faith, get right with God, and grow their relationship with Him. So for the longest of time, everything that I did was free. Even in my podcast episodes, I basically was coaching people and, mentoring them for free. And so a couple years into that business, I actually launched my very first product, which was a faith-based journal. And at the time, because it did go up, but I think at the time that I started it, it was around $35, $35. So in that business, I had this person who you would call a fan, I guess, because they would comment on every single podcast episode that I dropped. They would comment on every single social media post that I made. They supported everything that I did, and they stood out to me because they were always, commenting on something. And so that was fine. But when I first dropped this journal, mind you, this was my first paid offer in that business. This person started making comments, and their comments was basically trying to shame me for selling this journal and putting a price point on it. They would say things like, well, if that was me, I would just be doing it out the goodness of my heart. I wouldn't be selling to people and making them pay for it. Mind you, the product was only $35. It wasn't like I was charging hundreds of dollars. It wasn't like I was charging thousands of dollars. It was a $35 journal. And it was basically like this journal will walk you through your faith journey for at least 7 weeks. And, people don't consider I do have to spend money to actually print this journal and stuff. So this person, they just kept commenting and harassing me about this. Like, they're trying to make me feel really bad about selling this journal for $35 and not just giving it out for free. And it got to a point where I had to protect my peace, and I had to just go ahead and block this person. Like, I was grateful that they were a supporter for years. I was grateful that they liked my content, but the harassment just made me block this person. And I don't want you to think that I'm telling you this story to bash this person. I'm telling you this story as a learning experience, because I realize that when you are the type of person who always have products that are at a discounted rate, you are going to attract people who just want to pick your brain. They don't want to give you no money. They just want to come and get something from you without giving something in exchange. You're also going to attract the type of people who always want discounts. They're looking for a sale. They're looking for a deal. They're not willing to pay top dollar. They're not willing to pay $30, They're going to complain no matter what your prices are. Even if your prices are reasonable, even if your prices were like my journal where it was $35, they're still going to argue with you about it. And this is why I say that having low ticket offers also comes with the headache of the audience. Because do you know how annoying it was to launch my journal? And I did make sales from it. There was people who, who were buying it, but still having people complain that it's being sold, complain about the price, complain. It comes with a lot more headache. And I want you to understand the people who are willing to buy your $6,000 offer or your $12,000 offer or whatever the case may be. The people who are willing to buy your premium offer are not the people who are in your DMs and in your comments giving you a hard time about the price that you are charging. They are not the ones complaining about a $30 journal. They're not the ones complaining about a $25 coaching program. They are willing to pay anything. They are willing to pay top dollar. And the reason why is because price does not matter to them. Value matters. They don't look at the price point. They look at what you're offering. They look at how bad they want that result. And that is what they base their buying decision and their purchasing decision on. And you might be wondering, well, how come I don't come across those people? How come I don't come across the people who don't care about the price? And I'm going to answer that in the next point. So the third reason why you should start with your premium product is because it builds more trust. I know this sounds crazy. I know you're thinking, how in the world does a premium product build more trust with people? But I want to ask you a question. Have you ever went to a store? Maybe you shopped in like a physical store, or you were looking up something on Amazon or whatever, and you see two products, and those products are exactly the same, but they have two different price points. One costs a little bit more than the other. It could be $2 more. It could be, $20 more, but one just costs a little bit more than the other. And you would naturally think that you would want to go with the cheaper one, but you're a little bit more hesitant about the cheaper one. Has that ever happened to you? Because this has happened to me all of the time. There has been so many times where I look at two products that are exactly the same, and one costs a tad bit more. And I'm looking at the cheaper one, and in my head, I'm thinking, what's wrong with it? Is the quality a little bad? Because I know that you get what you pay for. So if I'm paying a little less than the other one, what is wrong with this one? Sometimes I go to a store and I'm hesitant of buying something because I feel like that's too low. And guess what? This is exactly how your clients are thinking. You know, in the coaching industry, not even just the coaching industry, in the business industry, I see so many people who say, I just want clients and customers who don't complain about my price. But I want to challenge you in the way that you're thinking. You want customers that don't complain about your price. But guess what? The customers that you are actually desiring are still complaining about your price. They're just not doing it in a way that you think. You think that they are complaining that your price is too high. But in actuality, they are complaining that your price is too low. Remember what I said? I said that premium people, they do not make their purchasing decisions based on the price. They make their purchasing decisions based on the value. So they're looking at your price and they're questioning, will I really get the result that I'm aiming to get? They're questioning, is this really a beneficial course or is this just fluff? Your prices are turning them off and they are still complaining. The difference is cheap people, people who complain that the price is too high, they'll get in your DMs and they'll nag you and harass you and try and make you feel bad in an attempt to make you change the price to fit their needs. Premium people, they don't like to waste their time. They're not going to take time out of their day to message you and say, hey, your price is too low. Hey, is this really worth it? Because I'm scared because I was expecting to spend $5,000, but you selling this for $75. They're not going to do that. What they're going to do is they're going to walk away and find someone else who has value that they want and has a price point that makes them feel comfortable that they'll get that value. They're still complaining. They're just not bothering you with their complaints. I want to give you an example. There was this coach who has me on their email list and I get their emails a lot. I'm actually interested in what they coach on, so I never unsubscribed or anything. And a couple months ago, they sent me an email and they also sent me a text message that they were having a deal, like a sale or whatever you will call it. So they had this challenge, right? And their challenge cost, I think the highest ticket was like $400 or $500. And in the sale, you will get a ticket to their challenge that is normally $500. It's included in this sale for free. Then you will get all these courses that they sell. Then you will get some ebooks. There was a whole bunch of stuff that you would get in the sale. And it sounded really, really good. I'm like, wow, you're basically giving away everything that, you offer in the sale. And so I'm like, what's the price? What's the price? And I get down to the price and the price says $47. Now, you would think that someone would look at that and they would say, you can't beat that. Like I'm signing up immediately, But immediately when I saw $47, I got hesitant. I was like, what's wrong with it? Like, are you really teaching what I think you're teaching? Because there's no way you are giving away all of this and it's actually beneficial and it's actually enough to help me. And you are giving it all away for $47. I immediately felt uneasy. I immediately started questioning the value of what they were offering me. And guess what? I did not buy it. I literally was like, I'll think about it. And I never came back to it. And I don't feel any regret because till this day, I still feel like, was that really worth it? Now, I guarantee you, there are still people who bought that person's, sale. They probably did look at it and was like, wow, all of this for $47, you can't beat that. And they probably signed up. But a person like me who thinks very highly and who is willing to pay, premium prices, that turned me off, it made me not want to buy. So when I say that your prices attract different people, I mean that. But not only that, your prices build trust with people. The person that you want to work with who does not care about price does not trust you because of the price you currently have. They don't trust that $75 program. They don't trust that low ticket offer is going to give them the result that they are looking for. If you want premium clients, you have to have premium prices. Your premium prices is going to be what attracts your client to you. And as we wrap up, I do want to give a disclaimer. I don't want you to think that I'm saying you should never have any low ticket offers, that everything you sell should be thousands of dollars or five figures or whatever. Of course, you can have low ticket offers. But what I'm saying is when you start, instead of starting with low ticket and building your way up to premium, you start with premium and build your way down to low ticket. What many coaches fail to realize is that starting with your premium product makes it a lot easier to build out the rest of your funnel. You'll have more time, you'll have more cash flow, and you'll have better clients. And guess what? If you start with that premium product and you start getting premium clients, once you release that $10 book, of course they're going to want to buy it. Once you release that $200 course, of course they're going to want to buy it. And it's because you've already taken the initiative to build trust. You've already gave this person the experience of what it's like to work with you. So now they're no longer going to question your low ticket offers. Starting with the premium price in your business is going to make everything so much easier for you. And so before we go, I do have an action step that I want to give you. So sometime this week, I want you to go to the description of this episode and download the Start with the Price worksheet. So the way that this works is it's going to be a box at the top of the worksheet. In that box, you want to put the price point that you want to start with. So I want you to ask yourself, what is a price point that you are comfortable selling? Is it $3,000? Is it $5,000? Is it $10,000? Is it $30,000? Write the price point that you feel comfortable selling your first premium offer at. Then I want you to brainstorm what kind of solution could you give your client at this price point and use the worksheet to start building out your product. And if you need help with this, like you don't understand what you could possibly sell at that price, you don't understand how to build out a premium product, don't worry because I got you covered. If you click the link in this description, you will see something called Coach What You Know. So Coach What You Know is a 4-day challenge that I am offering where basically on day 1, I teach you how to uncover the gifts, talents, resources, and wisdom that you currently have that you could coach people on and give to others. On day 2, I teach you how to take that talent and package it up into a coaching program that you could charge at least $10,000 for. And on day 3, I teach you 2 different marketing strategies and also how to build out that coaching program and launch it in 30 days. And so if you want more information on Coach What You Know, click that link in my description and sign up for the wait list so that you can be notified when the next challenge is available. But I want to thank you for listening to this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure that you subscribe so that you get a notification every time a new episode is released. And also share this episode with someone who you feel like it can help and pass this message along. And so that is all that I have for you today. And I will see you next week.